Salute guys. Jibru back with another public service announcement. I hope you guys are feeling good this morning. Salute guys, Jibru back with another episode of the PSA Podcast. And right now, my guest today, we got Loukmaan Adams. Loukmaan Adams, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you for having me. We're not doing like that kind of opening. Guys, we got Loukmaan Adams coming to the stage right now. Only 5 years old, a singing legend. We've got Loukmaan.
It's been real. I mean, you're saying 5 years old. Yo, I've been.
Were you singing before that?
No.
What?
I mean, because I've been in the industry for so long, but it doesn't feel like I've been there for so long.
Can I tell you something very interesting? So, like, was it 2 weeks ago? I woke up. It was a Sunday morning. No, so I was like, yo, you know what? I miss watching District 6, the musical, because I haven't watched it in such a long time. But I watched it in the Baxter. I mean, I watched it many moons ago when you guys actually did it.
Yes.
Went there with my auntie. I was still quite young, so I watched it. Yeah, and I'm just gonna show them that you obviously are 145, but it's okay. Listen,
100,
very well.
142. Get it right.
Okay, sorry. You carry your age very well. You don't look a day over 32. Anyways, so here we are. I watch it and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna watch some of these clips. The David Kramer clips are coming up. So now I'm sitting. I'm like, okay, cool. I listen to some of that old Jag tracks as well. I'm listening to Lonely Girl. I'm listening to Fairyland. And my bro, I sit and watch like 2 hours worth of Loukmaan Adams content.
So there's so much footage online.
On a Sunday when I'm like, yo.
I want to know why is it, because mense sê hulle dink Ira was my janaza, but every Sunday they play Lonely Girl, Queen of Hearts.
Look, those are classics still.
No, it is. Yeah, I get it, but
Yes.
when hulle begin with this thing, people would call me and go like, dude, we're just checking if you're alive.
If you're alive,
usually when someone died, that's
Is it tribute?
yeah, they would do a
I'm telling
tribute.
you, my Sunday turned out and I'm just like watching it and I just turned to my brother. I'm like, yo, this man's come a fucking long way, no?
Dude,
Come a long way, bro.
my kids don't like my songs, any of them.
Look, I think that's to be understood. I'm telling you this much. I've been on radio, I've been on TV, I've done shows, I've been on many stages. My close family are yet to come see me. Do my things. Oh, nee, is malay spela. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. My light is when I put on YouTube, I go like, listen, Dad did this, and they're like, no, Dad, no man, put on, no man, wacht. I'm like, yo, okay, cool.
Like I'm trying to show you the rich history and heritage
but
of
then
how long it came.
Exactly, but then I find Owen Sender out 20 years old, 30 years old. They come to me like, dude, listen, you really inspired me.
Yeah.
Because of you, I wanted to go into this thing. And I
Look,
go
lots
like,
of I think the 80s and 90s babies really appreciate what you've done, because I think we were around where there was no such thing as social media and all these different avenues of things that you could potentially watch.
Correct.
We were watching because this was our main sir.
Yeah, it was
a time
you could see someone that comes from your background actually performing on platforms like the Baxter Theatre or wherever, traveling the world. And I think when I think of social media, I go like, back then you had to come visit me so I can show you my photo album.
Yes, what I got, yeah.
Ek kyk eens daar was ek by die Eiffel Tower, hier staan ek, Madam Tussauds. Nowadays, life is most instant.
Just post and show it, yeah.
Check in Japan.
Look, so I told you we're not going to go too long like on the history. So we just to touch on it, when did it really start for you? When was the first time that you jumped on a stage?
9 years old.
9 years old.
District 6, the musical, yeah.
Okay, that was then.
I was playing soccer and my dad said, at my opkotel, and he said, listen, just come with me quickly. Went to the Baxter Theatre, auditioned. The following day, I left for Johannesburg, Durban, Scotland, London, and the rest is history.
You say that's 9 years old now? What year was that, my bro?
Dude, I'm now 48 years old.
Yes.
And yeah,
so that was like what? Is that like
late
70s?
No, late 80s.
Late 80s?
Yes.
Late 80s, no?
Dude, and we come from humble beginnings. I mean,
Yes.
and the fact that I think I was earning about 150 rand to 200 rand a week.
Okay, was it a lot at the time?
I was only working every second day. Yes. So I was working with Jody Abrams. A Vita Levi back then was 200 rand.
Okay.
And that's how I could kind of go like, okay, this is nog al 'n klomp geld.
Yeah.
But because we came from humble beginnings, and it felt lekker to be able to give to my parents and say, okay, here's my stukkie.
I got something to give,
yeah. And
now, if you look at back then and now, because what the quiet thing is, this is my own personal opinion, that in 2023, I feel like you're still super relevant. Like if you look at those years, right? I mean, I think like maybe if you think you hit your peak at whatever time, but here you are, 2023, I think you're still relevant, still doing amazing stuff. What kind of carried you through for the Like, I mean, the consistency, because I know lots of people disappeared. I watch some of the shows, I'm like, okay, he's gone. I haven't seen him in years. Look, man's still here.
I think what I try and do is I try and evolve. I try and do different stuff. Where I'm at right now, I would like to create platforms for the up and coming, and not just stages. What I see now is I know what it's like when you're young and there's no opportunities.
Yes.
And I think of people who sort of helped me along the way. And I want to be that guy, that kind of like I was part of someone's future or gave him, I know what it feels like if someone is circling, klop aan 'n deur, kykie, kan ek jou op die stage go perform? I get it always in my DMs. Listen, give us opportunity. So, en ze kan nie vir almal help nie.
No, you can't. I mean, you can do your best. I mean, but I mean, you really can't help everyone. And I mean, back in the days, you were the young guy.
Correct.
You were the young guy. I mean, now you see all this new talent coming out now. For someone that, I mean, is a seasoned vet in, like, it's entertainment, in South African entertainment. What did you say about some of the new people that you got like, seen on the up and ups?
Listen, I think they've got balls, man, to be able to do what they do. Back then, it was slightly easier, a bit more restricted, but there wasn't so much competition. Because of social media. Nowadays, you can sit in your room, you can create songs. There's an app for this, whatever. Almal het kwai mics en hulle doen hulle ding, you know. And it's lekker to see that. My thing that I have suckle with is I'm so used to having an audience and seeing that reaction.
And actually seeing them
and
now behind the screens,
right,
but different,
I got no idea. I dip a bitchy. The generation today, they've got confidence when hulle sit hy phone ding op of that camera.
En haar performance is maar vir jou.
Done. I see Lighty singing for 2 hours, 3 hours.
Do you think making it today is easier?
No.
Yeah.
I think there's more competition. I think everyone wants to do it. My concern is just not everyone can be a singer or rapper or whatever they decide to go into. And I would like Lighties to kind of go, okay, I'm a quite lyricist. So I'm going to stick to that.
Let me be the lyricist,
I'm a factor manager. I understand whatever. So there needs to be more groups of people kind of going, this is my lane.
You're going to be the photographer. You're going to be the manager.
And rather,
instead of we all want to be the stars.
Do a team. But that's the front guy. And because, for example, whatever I do, there's a team behind me. I can't do half of the stuff I do if I haven't got a team behind me. They go like, dude, Zemuda is tried. This is what's trending. Maybe that's what's happening here. Let's try and do. And it can be with all the social media.
Plus, I see you've been slacking the yellow TikToks also, doing a lot of dance challenges also.
Dude,
if I see now a new song it come out, I'm like, okay, right here's Loukmaan with a park crew members, and the man is slacking the dance challenge.
Yeah, but what you don't know that it took me 3 months to work.
3 months. Okay, sometimes I take 6. I'm like, guys, but I need to train for this 1 minute song.
So by the time I get to that song, there's a new song happening already.
Yeah,
it's like not in a bad way, but it's like bubblegum. You know, today this thing's happening.
It's trending tomorrow.
Something else is happening. Whereas in my time, or when things are happening, it was there for a longer period.
Like obviously, like I mean, at the risk of potentially sounding old, no? Like do you think like that time things had more essence than they did now?
I think we put in more work.
Okay.
We didn't need validation instantly.
Okay.
Let's talk about Cut in the Kings. Everyone sees Cut in the Kings when it went to New York and when we were at the West End or Broadway or at the Baxter, but no one talks about the 5 years it took us traveling met die met die trailer, met die Kumbi, doing all the festivals, you know, for no money or little money, performing to 3 people in the audience. They only see the latter bit of it. And I think that's where the lighters are at today. They want a gratification like
now.
Instantly.
But that's what social media has done, though. The instant gratification thing is because of that. They post now, it's okay, there's 10,000 likes. I feel validated.
But now the same.
Why did they get 12,000? I wanted 14.
And
are they more validated than me?
I think. And it's
caused a lot of problems. I'm not going to lie. I mean, this is a conversation I've had on the podcast many times about depression, you know, people thinking about their self-worth.
That's real.
Because of things like that, so I'm like, okay, I've been doing all of this work, but I'm still not getting seen like this and that. So am I not worth it? Am I not good enough?
Yes, there's that. And then also it gets to a point where they feel they have to, and I don't know, that's just my perspective.
That's your opinion, let's hear.
Where you have to now maybe I should show more skin. Maybe
Yes,
this
no,
is what is happening. And I go, yeah, are we really?
Luke likes it, but
there
low.
now?
Likes it, but low. I'm show my hole this week.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So now, ek scroll hier, ek kyk miskien whatever. Wife is next to me en dan kom 'n hol op. Dude,
Hey, man, what are you looking at this? Man?
So now I look like the bad
people
guy.
posted.
not cool,
Yeah.
man.
Okay, so now I mean, those are the early days, and you look at the journey you come, and I think it's might. You see, sometimes your lighties don't even wanna watch some of the stuff because they're like so tapped into so many of this other stuff. But now you get lighties like again from the 80s and the 90s that
Yes.
appreciate it. What are some of the stuff that they tell you when they see you? Like besides from you inspired them, just like who've actually watched it out. What is their feeling towards you
I think it's
as an
about
artist today still?
Yeah, I think it's about coming from the same areas.
Yes.
Being able to make it or what they see as making it. And that's a thing that I also have issues with. When you, for me, say if you made it in this industry, you need to look a certain way, you need to drive a certain thing. And I mean, ek sukkel dieselfde soos almal sukkel.
Yes.
I've got 3 little girls. Ek moet 3 paar skoene koop, 3 paar
Life, and
nappies.
then it's not even kind of how expensive life is today. Jeez.
And there's some nights where I also go like, yo, man, I mean, net vir my om hier te kom vandag, die hairstyle vat about 4 dae. Net om-
Okay, so you were busy since long.
So
Yeah.
it's that. And I think the most difficult thing for me is to sort of balance the two,
Yes.
life and work, because the een feed the ander een. And for me, that's the most challenging.
So now, if you go back, I mean, just touching on what you just said. Obviously, I have this conversation with so many different, let's say, influencers, artists, musicians. So, like, obviously, to the public, when you say, when they're like, "Yo, he's made it,"
Yeah.
they have a certain perception of who you support, like the house you're supposed to be in, the car you're supposed to be driving. But when does an artist or anyone in the industry ever get to a point where like, I made it? Like, do you ever made? Do you know what I mean?
I think when you get to a point where someone goes, listen, thank you for paving the way. Because that's how
Yes.
I feel about the artists who've paved the way for me. The Zane Adams, Tally Peterson, Teddy Fortune, people that's dear to me, that I think I'm very fortunate to have had guys like that in my life that said, "Moneti Sudani, try it like
Try
this.
it so, okay.
Be different, be original." And I think that's where the youth are at today. They understand their sound. They understand, listen, it's okay to have curly hair. It's okay
Yes.
to dress the way I do, which I appreciate, because I think for way too long we had to be like an American singer. We had to sound
Yes.
like a British singer, or we were sort of influenced like this is the sound that you need to do to be able to get recognized out there. And where we're at right now, there's so much diversity. There's some
Yeah.
wat ek nie verstaan nie. For example, there's songs now without lyrics or net een woord
Yeah.
or sounds
And the beat for it,
as that.
and it's the one, yeah.
But I find myself dancing to it. I don't know what it is, but I can somehow
you can
relate
connect
to it.
with that sound, yeah.
So that's quite liquor. But back to your point, I think you only get
like
the-
when you say, I've made it, you know what I mean?
Afterwards, when you see, like, for example, I'll give you an idea, an example, like I'm busy with Unity on the Square.
Yes.
It's a lot of work. It's admin and this and public liabilities and all that stuff. But we only get that satisfaction once the show is done.
It's done.
Then you
Yes.
kind of go like, wow.
We did it.
We
pulled
did it.
off.
The team pulled together with all the challenges and whatever we were faced with. The audience is happy. The food was lekker. The lighties enjoyed themselves. We created platforms, not just on stage, but lighties wanting to understand how events works, security works, the gas plans, and all the admin logistics bit of it. And
So now, in terms of, I mean, Unity on the Square, what's the lineup looking at there? And I mean, how do you guys go? How did you guys go about things? Because I'm pretty sure there are people like gonna be on that lineup. Couldn't put me on.
So that's the thing. I think Unity for me is celebrating diversity. That's it. And I've seen enough and realized a lot, like especially in Cape Town, well, South Africa, everyone's got different types of music
Yes.
that they are drawn to. And I wanted to create a space where
All of
there's
that
the
is
bit of
encapsulated.
alles.
Yes.
And maybe it's just a messed up way of thinking, a fucked up way of thinking, but I think that is what we stand for. Or, well, I know that's what we stand for. Diversity and embracing the fact that, yes, we are different. We come from different aspects of life. But
Yes.
for that day, we can kind of go like, we embrace and accept our diversities.
I got a very important question. Why am I not on the lineup and why am I not the MC of Unity on the Square? Need to
I
know this
didn't
today.
say that you're not on the lineup, and I want to know if that's
I
a
didn't know.
possibility. So put me up his spot
Listen, I
now.
didn't get the call to say, Mr. Meyer, you're the MC of this year's Unity on the Square because I know you're going to fucking rock it.
I promise you, I didn't even get as far as an MC yet because
Okay.
there's so much. Just getting,
No, I understand.
just getting artists.
I was
you
at
know.
the last one, by the way, and it was fantastic. I had a good time.
I think we've grown. We've
Yes.
grown from where we started. Originally, it was the idea in the beginning was to create a space because we just came out of the pandemic. COVID,
Yes,
whatever,
yes.
And it was just to get artists work because a lot of my friends were selling their drums, guitars, and I had to think of like, what can we do? You know, to get these owners back into the swing of things, or just being able to put a ranchi in the hand.
Yes.
And that's how it all started then. And then we realized, but we're affecting so much. We're doing workshops for lighters from CPUT saying, listen, you into events. What do you want to know? Come, let's get involved. So in total, we're employing about 400 kids.
Wow,
In
amazing.
different
Yeah.
aspects of the event. So that makes me feel satisfied that
Okay.
I was part of some lighties' dream. And for the singers and musicians out there, KK, if you're a singer, don't just stick to that one thing, man. Try other stuff.
Yeah.
Think of a stage manager, company manager, design posters, whatever it is. But
Don't just want. And now, if you go back, now you think of the early days, how you were doing shows versus you now doing the shows yourself. I mean, obviously the work is obviously much more colossal doing it yourself, right?
no deaths. I don't like doing shows anymore. Not that I
Performing
don't like
or-
performing because I find excitement in creating stuff,
And that's okay, most do.
and that's sort of where I'm at. But it's time consuming, man.
It's almost like that thing where you watch movies like this whole time, and this was like the best actor, and that actor slowly becomes the producer of
Correct.
all the films because now he's like, okay, you know what, I know I could have done this, but this person has to look for this because you obviously know.
And that's where I see myself. That's where I want to sort of place myself, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's the vibe.
So now, for what is some of your messages to, like, again, for up and coming artists like right now? Because now I think people have maybe a flawed perception of how it is they're gonna become. Look, being famous online is not the same as being, let's say, successful in what you're doing. You know what I mean? Because I could have I could have 10 million views, but I could have like 2 rand. You know what I mean?
So
how do they take it from, okay, cool, it's this online thing, to actually being on stage and knowing what the stage is like, what the crowd is like, what I'm supposed to do? Because the things I can't do in my room on the same way on the
Correct.
stage. You know what I mean? I could be fantastic in my room.
But my question is why though? Because a lot of the youngsters out there, they are convincing when they're in their room and
Yes.
they pull it off. And as soon as you put them on stage, they don't quite,
Yes.
that spark or that thing isn't there. So my question is why? What makes you able to go to that space where you can tap into it? I mean, for you example, I follow you and I go like, I don't know if you have a camera behind you that just follows you wherever
Everywhere I
you
go.
go because you make it look easy.
Yeah.
From all your experiences, all your journeys, I feel like I'm there with you, and I get it. That's sort of where we're at right now. But for the youth out there, I go, whatever it is that you're tapping into when you're in front of your phone or in front of that gadget that you're doing it, that's a similar approach you should be doing when you're on stage. And I know it's much more intimidating
Yes.
because that audience is it's alive. They make you
Okay, like you can literally see on their face, okay, they're feeling it, they're not feeling it. But now you have no faces there, so now it's just you. Just doing your thing, yeah.
And you have to push through that. And all of us had that moment where it wasn't a quiet evening. You didn't sing so lekker that day. You went false. You missed your choreography and you had a cold.
Yes.
But you have to push through. And I think it's not to give up so quickly and surround yourself with people that kind of go like, okay, guy, so can you improve?
Yeah.
Eat garlic,
Garlic,
whatever that thing is. But surround yourself with that kind of energies and people that has that same sort of vision.
Okay, so now, with that also being said, now what was some of they said the weirdest fan encounters you've ever had?
That's always
Like something that you just thought like, yo, well, that was a bit crazy.
There's always that kind of thing. And I think it's my audience. This is weird, or my fans is weird. It's either very young
Or very
or
old.
very old. There is niks in between. If someone
Okay.
comes up to me and go like, "Do you know, no, my grandmother really likes you." And I go, really?
Ja. My ouma's mal vir jou.
En
Ja.
sy praat nog tot vandag.
Vandag,
Is as sy nog geliewer het, dan
Hy
sal
nog
sy.
maar,
En ek go like,
hy is stunning.
"But as jou ouma nie meer daar is, hoekom vat sy nog die foute? It doesn't make sense."
Ja.
I think the only thing that sort of is uncomfortable is when I'm with my kids.
Yes.
Because I go like respect that time that they don't see me that much.
Okay.
So when I'm with them, then kind of gauge yourself.
Yeah. Look, but then you must also understand, well, this is just me as an outside person. For some people to see you, or anyone for that matter, that they really enjoy maybe online or seen shows or seen, for them it's just excitement. And,
No.
they expect you to be the performer
Or
when you
the-
just
yeah,
all the
or the
time. Like,
person
bro, I'm
that-
eating a diet with my family, you know what I mean?
I fully
Look,
agree
man,
with
sings
that.
my number.
No, daai
Gooi
moet
vir Lonely
man.
Girl
Ek
te-
kan sien 'n jukebox sê wat
Nou
jy nou net
sy sit in 'n lekker relax, jy having 'n lekker sap, my bro, gooi vir Helena boss.
No, it was stand diamond, but I want to go like, dude, I'm not that guy now.
Yes.
I did Arden's play a few weeks ago, and I know mense weet ek is Loukmaan man, but
Yes.
because that guy saw something on Arden's play or last night, so hy kon nou my daai kind of mindset en hy wil nou my vertel die woorde wat hy dink van die scene,
Okay.
what of my acting and how, and I go, yeah, bruh, timing is just not quite
Yes.
right now, but I understand it, but sometimes I also don't get it because I think if you're sitting with your family, all you want to do is just enjoy it.
Yeah, you just want to enjoy the time, yeah.
So yeah, I think that's probably the
Have you,
moment.
Lucas, I mean, obviously you've been on stages for many years. I know you also did that jive, cultural emotional thing.
Correct. I started with that.
You did that as well. Also, now I'm just also going back now. I mean, you've been on stages now versus 20 years ago. How's the body? Is the energy still boosting?
That's the one thing. I think when you're talking about JAG
Yes.
earlier, when we started, and that was almost 30 years ago.
Yes.
When we started, you would do 5 shows a day, or in the evening,
Mm.
30 all Athlon Civic Center, Perel, Worcester,
Mm.
because you're nog terug, and maybe do 169, and you'll be fine.
Yes.
As ek nou 45 minutes set doen, moet ek 3 dae recover. Because when you come home, the kids want your attention
Yes.
as well, and that is also another show on its own.
On its own, yes.
So it's you definitely feel
No,
it.
the reason I asked that, but even myself, you know, and it's not, it hasn't even been that long. But I'm telling you, if I did a show 10 years ago, that's obviously MC, hosting, master of ceremonies. I'm telling you, I'm boosting. To me now, I'm telling you, this is maybe 12 years later. I'm just like, right, I think it's been a good hour. I'm gonna have to wrap it up.
But
You guys keep it going.
but you don't feel it when you're on stage.
yes, afterwards.
Afterwards, I mean, the energy drinks doesn't work for me anymore. Ek moet nou my ma se aura goed te vat, like
Yes.
what will make it work? Because
Look, I mean, this one might be above the throat. They say back in the days was it Villa and Pilla.
what
Maar as jy oud is, is dit brille en pille. Van Villa en Pille na brille en pille, huh? Brille en pille. What is the couple of there's a few us? My ambulance. Still paying for the back.
dude, yeah, I'm there. It's like, and
Yeah.
whenever my wife's in with the pain or whatever, then she just wants to stop me in with pille and goed. I go like, nah, man, it's fine. I can breathe
Have you
through it.
ever been on doing a show one day and maybe at some point maybe did a dance move wrong and like maybe hurt a leg and just kept going?
Yes, I'm on stage. I sing the wrong lyrics and I just keep on going. I just go, this is what it is. But you're in the moment. I
Yes.
think the audience understands that we are human. We are allowed to make mistakes.
Yes.
So that always happens to me.
One of the best experiences for you, one of the best shows for you growing up.
Yeah, there was a lot. But
We just need one. We just need the one
well,
that
I think
you were like, yo, this one still
I think
close to heart.
my personal one is Guma.
Guma, okay.
Guma, because it dealt with our history, our culture,
Yes.
and it sort of gave people a sense of where it comes from and why do we like this particular sound? Why do we? I mean, as ek 'n fluitjoer, oh yes, and my body naturally just goes into like a da 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 da. So
Yes.
why? And Guma dealt with all of that. It gave you a sense of where you come from and that you had to be proud of your history and that sound and what was weird with Guma specifically, that I would be on stage and I would see a black person, a white person, an Indian person
Yeah.
singing the same song. And I go like,
Wow. Yeah.
wow, man. Kyk demo, we think we're so different, but there's certain stuff I was
also still yeah.
So for me, that was probably the best. And then obviously the excitement of cutting kings and traveling the world, that's got its own journey, because I think we were just too young to experience that kind of grootness.
Yes. Now listen, this is a question for me. This is my one to you. Like, so now, like, if you go back now, obviously the times you were performing, I mean, lots of the shows you kind of were doing had like these ties to District 6, you know, Group Areas Act, people being removed, and like what, let's say, slaves or post slaves that come to do, and their family members from all around the world. This was the music, this was the culture,
Yeah.
and that kind of built on the Cape culture, which we kind of have today. And now you being an artist, like I said, within that time to versus where you are right now, right? Do you feel like there was any shift in things like colored people in business, or people of color in business versus who were still the owners of stages and like productions and things like that? Because I mean, for me, even as a youngster, then I look at stuff like it and I look at the shows, I'm like, these guys are great. They should have been even better. But now, if you look years later, then you still see, maybe not you, maybe, I don't know, you know, you still have struggling artists, but these are people that kind of paved the way for this thing.
No,
Does it, like, you understand where I'm going
No,
with this?
I
So
know.
now, if you look at that, I mean, did it ever give like to a point of like, you know what? We actually are now the custodians of this thing, as opposed to we just the funny colored man on stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I'm going to try and answer to the best of my ability. I know we have evolved.
Yes.
I know that there are a lot of colored producers, a lot of colored writers, and they kind of own. They understand more about IP or intellectual property and
Yes.
what it's about. And I think for us back then, we didn't really understand all of that,
All of
because
that.
that wasn't important to us. Ons wil net op die stage
Be on
sit,
the stage,
wanted to perform, even if for free. It's all right. What's happening now is that we're more educated. I think we understand that you can't just be a singer. You need to understand
The whole thing, yeah.
business side of it, the social media side of it, and still today you can't just have talent. You need money behind you. You need, if it's boosting stuff on social media, that is what's expected. I don't know of any business that is successful that's not on social media.
Yes.
That's how insane it is. Ek kan nie meer net flyers maak en in die rond te stuur and hope that I'm going to have a sold out performance. So we need backing, we need help. But for me, I do think that we are now in a space where I've seen a lot of colored Owens
Yes.
having their own business. I mean, I always going out
Yes.
and saying, listen, we need funding. We need, and there's a lot of these cats are like, I'm all really helpy.
Yes.
But
They do exist now.
Yeah,
So
that's
I mean,
around.
I think my kind of follow-up question with that was, do you feel like early day artists could at some point, I'm not saying you, anyone, I just mean in general, could have been exploited for
we were always exploited.
like, obviously, like for your talents. Like, I mean, maybe let's say I'm being super hypothetical. Cat and the Kings, you know, through its tour had garnered 1.5 million.
Yeah.
You as the artist, after the whole run, you got 1,000 rand.
I think
mean,
that's
does stuff like that still happen
that's the
today? That's what I
nature.
want to know.
I think it is.
Yes.
It is happening today. If you're not educated about it, if you don't understand if you write your lyrics or you come up with a concept, you need to know that, kyk sir, dis myne. I own this thing. How do I need to register? Do I need to do this? Because it still happens. Someone can come to you, because like this today, they just want to be known, man.
Yes.
And when you start in the industry, you're prepared to do anything
to be known,
I've known of artists who they've just used their voice, but they gave them a recording session fee, but they've got 1 million views on YouTube, or so someone is making money somewhere. But now on the other side, you also there's also Owens who have got the monies, and they've got the setup, and they've got the studio, and they've got all of that. So
Yeah.
it's a sort of a catch-22 situation for me. If where I go, okay, that O's got the talent, but I've got the funds and I've got the equipment.
Yes.
So when you're going to a deal, as the artist, you should know, okay, this is my worth. Okay, ek gaan dit doen vir die. And sometimes you have to start somewhere.
Yes, obviously, I
you're
mean, not
gonna-
overnight. I mean, like once you've been seasoned in this thing, and then you just kind of check like the dynamic of it all, man. Like, I came with the idea. These are stories which are indigenous to me, to the
Yeah.
people I know, but at the same time, it's on stages, produced by who, you know what I mean? And who's taking the credit, and who's taking it to the Luris, and who's taking it overseas, and like,
Dude,
and
there's
where am I? You know what I mean? Like,
But
you
that-
guys, and then everyone's like, yo, you're so fantastic. You did the best. And like, bro, you guys have in a 1.5, you know what I mean?
But that's, and I think that will always be the case.
Okay.
I think people always be exploited if you don't know what your worth is, and sometimes you just have to do things just to get by. And
Yes.
sometimes you have to put your foot down and go, you know what, I can't do it for that amount because you're exploiting me.
And this is why I have this conversation with you even now, so to speak, because I know that even they are like, whether it's from TikTok or Instagram, whatever, you've been like, let's say, new people getting into the industry. Obviously, number one, if you are new, you have to start somewhere. It's like free gigs, dude. Don't get me wrong. You're gonna do free gigs, you're gonna do low paying gigs. That I get, because when you're learning, you have to. Because I mean,
Correct.
you can't even count on your hands how many times you had to do a free gig, but that was just about the ends justifying
still
the
do
means.
free gigs.
Yeah, I'm doing this because it's gonna allow me to be on that stage next, this stage, which is gonna open up these doors. those
Correct.
doors. So, but I'm saying, when you get to a point like, okay, cool, I'm seasoned, I know my art, I know my craft, but I don't know the whole buzz. So now I find myself being on these stages more and more and getting booked because I don't know the buzz. I don't have a proper team around me. I'm busy doing this thing for 100 rand. But now I'm being here for a while,
But
and
that-
now you never get to that
you can't,
point.
You can't do that for too long. Otherwise, you're going to be labeled as that 100 rand artist that you can just
Yes.
get away with. That's I'm more about building relationships with
Yes.
people. Kind of go, okay, this is the vision. Do you want? Can we doing a percentage deal? But
What do you want?
But
Yeah.
that could be what you invest, because you maybe don't have the financial backing. But now you
Yes.
can go, okay, cool, I'll do this, but I want 20% of
Yeah.
sales or something. My situation is, when I book an artist, they look at me, and because they think it's me, dan wil hy bil opgaan.
Opgaan, okay,
And
yeah.
I go like, dude, I know you would probably do it for 500 rand for someone else, but because you think they as it no, so that is the thing there. And I go, I would rather then work on the relationships and say, okay, what can we do for a trade thing?
Yes.
What do you need from me? I know the producer from
Look, you want to do a show
Ex-
next?
da- da-
You
da-
want
da-
to do a
I-
show next month? I can maybe avail some of my
yeah,
skills for
or
your show.
some people
Yeah.
are like, I've got access to studios or rehearsal space or a band. It's just, for me, that's what's important. Relationships. How can you say, use what you have without even knowing that you have access to these connections? Because those allemaal het context, man. If I should ask you, nou kyk, sê ek maak hier 'n nice beat of a rapper, you'll
Ek
go
het 'n
like,
producer.
ek het vir hom maak, ek sê,
Ik get the architect.
we will
ek het 'n
make
tiler.
shit work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So we should use that kind of die gedagtes and fucking make magic, because
Yeah.
colored people make magic.
So now also, this is something very interesting that I want to ask you. That, like, you know, again, you guys were on stages for many years. You did this thing. Do you feel like there was any people? I mean, you don't have to mention any names. Do you feel like there were people on stage at the time that were on the stage and maybe didn't have the talent, but they had connections? Or like, you're like, okay, weet jy wat? Die is eintlik my neefie se klonk. Sit vir hom op. Maybe this one could have been better than him, but because listen, yeah. Look, I mean, it happens in workplaces even today still, but you get what I'm saying? Do you feel like there were people that were unworthy of their roles?
I don't know if they were unworthy of the roles, but I know that, and from my experience, I would rather work with people that is easier to work with.
Okay.
No matter how talented you are. A lot of the work that we've done, let's say it's a 3-month production or a 2-week production. So I would rather work with someone that's less talented, but they punctual.
Hard work, consistent, yeah.
They put in all the work. They're easy to work with. Like when you have an idea, can we try it?
What
People,
do they say? Hard work beats talent.
that's
ultimate,
not us, but as 'n inko met the ego, really, that's what kyk sê ek is dinges en
Dis
dinges,
daai guy.
and I know it, and then I go like, dude, it's all right, man. We don't need that in that space, because
Yes.
whatever project I work with, I go, almal kan leer van mekaar. I can learn from your camera guy, from your videographer, from your sound guy, and that's the sort of space that I
Yeah.
like to position myself in. But that's altyd van hy wat sit my niggie op,
my niggie op, ja.
because you feel that they are the best singer and you're not honest enough to say, kyk sy, jou kind kan nie sing nie.
Yeah. Let's even take it back, yo. You can sing kak.
Oh, right.
So you kind of luister jy ek weet nou nie waar dit was. Sy sing mos kak, maar sy het nou op sy moet nou dak. Sit vir Vanessa op, I'll sing sy kak. And you go everyone's wonderful like an angel. You know someone
like,
at the back.
I'm even hardcore with my kids.
Yes.
I know they're 2, 3, and 4, but I go like, dudes, I went to go watch the kiddie play. They think they are the best dancers and singers. I go, guys, julle moet rehearsal toe kom.
Yes.
Julle represent for me, so no man, no.
Yeah,
become an accountant of it.
Look, and I want to know, like, if you look at the early 80s, late 80s, I mean, what was like the after party culture? Like, I don't know even like if you got the chance to turn up in the young days. I'm not talking about anything now, but before family, before the wife, just like you on the road, bro. I mean, do you have any fun stories of turning up?
Turning up, like half the time I don't know what the good term mean. Turning up, like
up, bro. I'm okay, look here, man. I'm trying my best to keep you in a good light, but this is the point.
But go for it.
This is the point of the podcast. You know, that is why, because we want the stuff that people don't talk about.
Yes.
Like, you know, were you ever like in Los Angeles at like, you know, 19 years old snuffing lines of a stripper's tits? Kind of like, you know, like, did nothing fun happen, bro?
I think I did about everything. Everything. I mean, like, to a point where when I was in Vegas, by the third time, I'm not going to tell you insane story, but I just mean like they paid us before we got to Vegas.
Okay.
And by the second day, I had no more money left.
Now, what's happening? Were you doubling? Were you just low?
I was trying. What if I'm like, I'm in Vegas?
Yes. To try. And is this 90s or 80s?
This is probably late 90s.
Late 90s.
Like 2000.
And he's Jay Loukmaan Adams in Las Vegas.
But it was the same in London on the West End. We never had the opportunity. I mean, I come from Mitchell's Plain, East Ridge. A few years later, you're working on the West End.
Yes.
You have access to alles. You have a goose wat jou massage, het 'n predikant wat elke Dinsdag kom bid. If I wanted to pay your glasses, they go like, no, you can't go buy it. The Ray-Bans will sponsor you.
Okay.
There's limos, there's opening nights, so you get lost in the moment.
Yes.
And in a way, that was liberating and quite an experience, but we were too young for that because we didn't come from that. So I think any lady, from 350 Rand to, let's say, 2,000 pounds a week, it's insane.
That's insane, yeah.
It's insane. I wanted to fly my mom down. I flew her. Mommy ko kykie, waar bly ons? My dad couldn't come at the time, but my mom was with me for about, I think, a month. Alistair flew his mom down because we wanted him to celebrate this thing. Obviously, our way of living wasn't...
kosher to that. No, that's my follow. That's why I want to just follow up this before we lose this train of thought here. So early days, right? You guys are partying. You obviously this is like after the shows, or like maybe let's say the done is run, or the run for the week is done. You guys are now chilling. You turning up. You in all these different so tell us a story, you know, of like something that may have happened, you know, that may have never told anyone.
Hey,
I know you got a few. I'm talking about the stories that you don't tell your children.
The stories that I can't tell my kids. It's we partied hard. I mean that's insane. I think anyone that's sort of close to me that has an idea of, and it didn't even have to be abroad. It just, I mean, But it was to a point where I'll go like, okay, if we're gonna party tonight, if it's in Cape Town, we might end up in Johannesburg.
Okay.
The Monday.
That's how it is gonna go.
It was that kind of insane. Yeah. Everything was done in the moment. Like, what to do? Are we gonna book 3 flights now, 4 flights to go to Joburg just to go meet Johnny Da? So that's what we're doing.
Yes.
So, and we didn't have, obviously didn't have so many responsibilities. Money was an issue. You had access to that, credit cards and whatever, and life is life. But
I also about this stuff because obviously I know, when you are in the public eye, you're supposed to like have this clean cut, approach every time when everyone sees you, like, no, like, well mannered, in order, like, like you restricted from the space of being human.
Yeah,
like everyone else is allowed to be human, but you're supposed to be Loukmaan Adams, the artist, all the
and you
time.
can't. So basically, you can't let your hair down. So you have to do everything in private areas or whatever, and you can only trust the people around you. So
Yes.
that's about So that was challenging because you want to.
Which I'm gonna go out and let me say it was as kak also.
It is kak.
As kak.
It's very kak because you're not allowed to be yourself. You
Look,
always
I'm
have
gonna
to put
tell-
up this front.
I'm gonna tell people a story on the podcast, yes, and so
Okay.
even for myself, I'm also going like good 12, 13 years back. I was doing a lot of parties. I was ripping it up, bro. We were dropping pills. We were rushing our tits off. Whether we were snorting cocaine, we were doing whatever kak we were doing this kak. But now it got to that point, like, okay, cool. Now you're known. Now Mr. Meyer's on TV. Mr. Meyer is doing the radio.
Yeah.
Mr. Meyer is hosting shows. He's doing motivational talks for the youth. But remember, we were also still young. We were also still finding out, like, what is this? And maybe we're experimenting. But whether people's going to say or not they've experimented, they're talking kak. Because the thing is, a lot of people have.
I think you have to experience everything in life. But to add to that story, I think most of my experiences actually happened here. Because if my whole life has just been about work.
Yes.
Wherever I traveled, wherever I went. So I could only really let my hair down once I came back. And all the hectic parties that I had in my life happened here because my friends would go like, try this. And you don't want to be an outcast or kind of go,
Yes.
"Nah, I won't say I
can't."
So because of that, you can then kind of go like, nah, this vibe is not for me.
Not for me.
Because
of that,
that, and you have to put up this front. Wherever. So that's the
I'm
kind
telling you, bro, I'm rushing my tits off at this one party, my friend. Rushing my tits over, bro. And I'm keeping my glasses like, is that you, Mr. Meyer? Is that you? I'm like, nah, it's not me.
No, but
Huh? It's not me, is that me? Mr. Meyer not even here right now. And then I got into it like, okay, cool, fuck, now we have to only do this in hotel rooms. I'm like, oh, fuck. And now I can't even go to the Joel anymore because like, and then it just turned into, you know what, I'm done. I've had it. I'm throwing the towel in. It's boring now.
I can't even go buy whatever because I go like, where do you buy this stuff? Like,
yes.
Okay, Ima, can you buy the things?
Can you buy it? Yeah.
Because it was just one of those things.
Hey, bro, look, man.
That's
Is that you? Just say, are you also here, man? Salam alaikum, my brother. How are you? Two Jamisons. But yeah, I mean, so that is why I'm saying life of an artist versus just being like someone from Cape Town. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's a weird combination of trying to. I'm supposed to be him, but I'm also this. But
but it's also. I mean, like my parents are very much alles baie salig.
Yes.
You know, so there's also that, but that you have to kind of go like, okay, as your ma gaan uitvind that you know, or they should find out and so hulle moer vir jou reg. And that's sort of my background of where I come from. So I always had to be aware of.
So I mean, was your mensa salig even back in the days?
Yes, my dad, Yuzriq Mosque, he was the first Bilal there. We like built the first brick there. It was saam met die dagga uitge.
Yeah. So now if you look at that now then you obviously doing shows and it was music involved. Like, did you have time to make salah and still do shows?
I had to. My mom, that's the one thing my
Is
mom
it
had
pushing?
to.
She made sure.
If I go to a house now, jy moet voorstaan vir the word asr.
Okay.
Wat te dua, that's where it's at.
Yeah.
My mom was the one, like, for my surah, she would go like, maak je les van. I walked from Eastridge. We lived in Eastridge and my madrasa was in Westridge. It was a solid,
you on the other side, from the one side.
45 minute to an hour walk through the town center, get robbed, whatever, but they moet hy doen.
No, that's quiet. And I mean today, still keeping it going?
Today, yeah, I mean I've got the girls there. They kind of go like that. When are we gonna pray?
Okay.
So and you also want them to have that sort of stability.
Yes.
And kind of go like, okay, I'm the pillar of the household.
Yeah,
and
so
just know, yeah, you and that's the kind of things that where I'm at now, where the simple things in life is, I appreciate that more. And I never thought that, because it sounds cliche, like yeah, I don't know how to say it, but if I think about it, the stuff that excites me now is coming home, seeing them smiling.
Yes.
Whatever. Okay, it's your list, Pachak, it's your list. And the
Yes.
things that my mom used to do to me,
You kind of share that with them as well, yeah.
like, nah, I like where I'm at right now.
Look, if you like, you should watch this interview, like watch this podcast, whether they watch us in 10 years' time or 20 years' time. Let's just be hypothetical. We never know. You know, that's fine. That's somehow finds its way through the metaverse, and they watch it 20 years from now. They didn't get a chance to see it. How would you like them to remember you, or all the sacrifices, or like the life that you live in right now? What did you want it to mean to them
I'd
versus what it is and what it means to you? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you say. I can only speak of how I lived my life. And I think every youngster out there, they're going to get to a point where they're going to try and experience something new, which if it's good or bad, and that's going to make them become who they are. But they should be able to make a decision if it's right or wrong. But if I look at my girls, my wife will say to me, you were a very liberating parent. You know, you allow a lot of stuff. And I go like, but that's what life is about. That's how I experience life. If it's whatever. And I think if I want my girls to take something from this interview is that they're allowed to experience life, try different things, understand things, question things like why? Because the way ek opgegroeid, and I don't know if you grew up in the same way, I could never question my parents.
Yes. Yeah.
You would just go, you have to do this, you have to
Hold
do
it your
that.
back and
Yeah, and I would like that my kids are in a space where they can go like, Dad, why are we doing this? Why do we have to do that? And I can be in a place where I can explain it to them.
Yeah. So I mean, do you see yourself being that strict parent when they're older? I mean, what the eldest is how old?
4.
Okay.
So 2, 3, 4, or they 3, 4, 5. Right
Okay,
now.
so you remember they must still become 18, 19.
So that's the thing. Hulle ek al class of 18, 19 is
You see yourself saying, "Hello, waar gaat jy nou?"
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think I'm going to be that parent. I think I'm going to be the one that go, wat 'n klap gaan hulle by is, okay, hoe laat ek hulle optel, whatever. But
yes.
That's waar ek.
You know the people that say that they say getting daughters is a blessing because it is your door into Jannah. At the same time, you know, it's a big test for you having those daughters.
Dude, there's so many. I have to deal with mood swings and they chunk for the last kak, man. This one I hug that one too long and I kiss this one and it's. But I have to put myself into that sort of frame of mind where I go like, guy, it's pointless getting upset about it. Just embrace it. It's that moment and that's where I'm at.
Okay, we near that one. We're going to end it off pretty soon.
That's cool.
So now, quick question here. Any ex-girlfriends that still eat you up today?
Probably.
What do you mean probably?
No.
Do anyone still eat you up?
I don't know how many ex-girlfriends there are. I mean, like...
How many do you have?
No, I was never like in the relationships.
Okay, listen here.
Like,
Loukmaan?
It was more of a...
Loukmaan? How many girls have you pumped?
61, 68, 79, 5. Did you?
But how many? So where did we end off?
I've got no idea.
792. Have you? How have you been tested, Aya? Okay, now listen here. So
but if I sit in the audience,
yes.
If I kind of sit there, I kind of go like, because you can see in the eyes like, staan nog altijd. That's what they thinking, not me.
Exactly. Ek sal as Jaiva, Loukmaan. Listen here, now I got some PC. Would you rather questions? I'm just going to do like 4 and then we can end it off. Right, would you rather have a hairstyle that defies gravity or eyebrows that constantly change shape?
Sure, hairstyle that defines gravity.
Okay. Next one, would you rather always wear a clown costume or a tutu for the rest of your life? Clown costume or a tutu every single day of your life. Doesn't matter what show you're doing, where you going.
Clown costume.
Clown costume, so why that one instead of the tutu?
Every tutu, was dit baie skin, ek weet nie.
Okay, here's another one. Would you rather be able to speak only in rhymes or only to communicate using interpretive dance?
Only in rhyme.
Only in rhyme. So why instead of interpretive dance?
It sounds difficult.
Okay, would you rather be able to communicate with animals but be allergic to all of them, or be able to control the weather but only during thunderstorms?
Control the weather during thunderstorms.
So why? You must give us the reason.
This cheaper, I would know how to navigate through wherever I need to go.
Okay, would you rather fuck 10 strippers or do 10 grams of coke right now? Thank you so much, Loukmaan Adams. Podcast. Until next time, you guys stay awesome.
Yeah, that last question hit me for a fucking sixer.
Yes, salute guys. Zibrumas to my back with another public service announcement. Hey! Gents, I hope you guys are feeling good this morning.